D1 team hosts Air Force Academy Falcons for the second game in this 2-game series. The visiting Falcons are wearing their road blues with the star-spangled accents. Loving those star-spangled socks. They got the blue numerals. And your Utes are wearing their home whites trimmed with red, the red numerals, and the black pants.
They actually, the Air Force, it's kind of hard. It might be hard to tell from the broadcast, depending on if we get, a close shot of one of the Air Force players. But the sides of their jerseys are actually details of an older plane that was used in the Air Force. It has like the teeth and the eye.
Oh, okay. Oh,
so
right.
So that's
like the Mustangs in World War II.
Yeah, so that's basically their the accents on the side is supposed to resemble that of an airplane, which is pretty cool.
That's
obviously,
very cool.
Air Force Academy, it makes sense. So
yeah, I was really admiring the star spangling on the shoulders and the socks.
Very patriotic.
Yes.
And I would expect nothing less from the Air Force
And
Academy.
very Air Force.
Yes.
All right, and we are off. And Utah looks like, well, they had the puck, but now Air Force controls. And we've got the same starting lineup for Air Force as yesterday, I believe. We've got forward, we've got Kathleen Hughes, Madison Hunt, and Aaron Firth. The defense is going to be Riley Deans and Eris Butler, and in the pipes, Isabella Horning. For the Utes, who are defending the goal on your left, it's going to be forwards Gracie Capps, Hallie Hansen, and Katie Plyer, and the defenders are Jordan Baker and Olivia Howe. And in the pipes today for the Utes is our other goalie, Sarah Olson. Sarah and Samantha pretty much splitting the games fairly evenly in terms of playing time. And it'll be interesting to see how Air Force comes out, because they do have a pretty short bench. And boy, we worked them hard yesterday, so we'll see what they have in the tank today.
And actually, obviously, when you look at the score yesterday, it doesn't resemble that of a close game. But Air Force had a couple of chances where they could have put the Utes down. Like right out of the gate yesterday, around this point in the game, the first 3 minutes or so, a couple of breakaways for the Falcons that could have had a chance to go up on Utah 1-0, which, you never know. With that momentum, the game changes. I'm not saying the result would have been wildly different, but again, you can't cut out a team just because their record or their stats. It really doesn't matter. On any given day, as they say, a team can beat another team.
Right. And again, we talked about yesterday, Air Force, this is their first year. I believe they had a team quite a while ago, but this is their first season of having women's hockey at Air Force. They've had a men's team for a while. So again, they're in that building phase, just as the Utah was, their first season a couple years ago. So puck is in the Air Force zone, and Madison Hunt back there along with Michaela Torrey fighting for the puck in the corner. Air Force, of course, trying to clear it out of their own zone, and they do, and here it comes. They come across the neutral zone, but they give up the puck. And Air Force retrieves in their own zone, trying to send it up, start that breakaway going. Dean sends it up along the boards. It's going to be a bit of a foot race for Dindorf, and she's not going to get there in time. So it's going to be icing. They're going to have to come back and have a face-off back in the Air Force zone. Looks like just to the left of Isabella Horning.
And
I'm sorry, to her right. Of course, I say it the wrong way.
Isabella Horning, as we mentioned yesterday afternoon, we'll mention it again today for those tuning in, but this is her second game career ACHA as the goaltender.
Oh, nice save by Horning. It actually kind of glanced off her chest and her face, but yes, only her second game.
With some, it sounds like some injury problems with their primary goaltender, but yes, it's only her second time playing goalie. Pretty impressive.
I spoke to someone, I believe she got sick right before the road trip. She was really feeling pretty crappy. So she stayed home, and Isabella came along and stepped in, and she's hanging in there. She was peppered with how many shots on goal? 40? I'd have to look at last. I don't have yesterday's stats in front of me.
More than enough.
Yeah, more than enough. All right. Utah sends it into Air Force's zone, but Air Force recovers and sends it back out, so we're going to have to do over. Stevenson goes and chases it back into her own zone, picks it up, skates behind the net, sends it up forward, ends up in the neutral zone. It's kind of a loose puck. It's going to be a race now. We got two Hallie Hansen and Katie Pliers coming down on Horning, and they tried for the crossing pass, which was a perfect tic-tac-toe, but it was just out of Pliers' reach, and so the puck ends up in the corner, still in Air Force zone. That would have been a perfect little, one-touch play there for Plier. That's one thing that Katie Plier is really good at. She knows how to post herself right there in front of the goal, looking for either a crossing shot or a rebound or a deflection, and she's had, I think, a couple of goals now that I've watched at home where it's right place, right time, got her stick on the ice, and in it goes. Okay, Air Force digs it out. That's Deans. Sends it up to Firth. Firth clearly the best player. I would say one of the best players on the ice for either team.
Right.
She is really outstanding. She really shines.
She does possess a lot of skill. We saw that yesterday. I mean, obviously, the 3 goals that were scored, very, very skilled goals from Firth.
Right.
She had herself a hat trick, and
all of Air Force's goals. I believe those
Absolutely.
the only 3 goals Air Force had were Firth's.
And if you're an Air Force fan watching, I'm sure.
There you go. There's the tic-tac-toe play. So that looked like it went from Cruikshank to
Michaela Dickman, it looks like.
all right, Dickman, who puts it in the net. Utah goes on the board at 16:05 in the first period. Nice little, so we can see too that Utah's going in there and making sure that they're setting up their plays and making sure they're in position. They're not just kind of like collapsing in on the puck or having a free-for-all where anybody just takes a whack at it. And this is going to be important because when they play those better teams, they're going to need to maintain that discipline. They're going to need to maintain that teamwork. And if they don't keep that, perfect practice makes perfect. If you don't do it every time, you're not going to do it when it matters. Oh, I'm sorry, we got it backwards. Hallie Hansen with the goal and Dickman with the assist. Unless maybe the announcement is backwards, but. All right, puck again in the Air Force zone. Michael sends it along the boards. Howell's going to try and keep it in, and unable to quite do that, so Utah's going to have to regroup in the neutral zone. Oh, nice little deflection off somebody's shin pad. Howell chases it down, carries it around behind the net. Starting the breakout, passes up to Cruikshank. Cruikshank sends it up into the neutral zone. Oh, nope, deflected, so it stays in the Utah zone. Cruikshank sends it across to Michael, but it's just beyond her reach, and it's time for a line change, so we're going to have a fresh set of bodies on the ice. Howell takes it. I'm sorry, Burns takes it, sends it back to start the breakout. And Utah's trying to start the breakout, but the puck gets hung up in their zone. Now it leaves. It's in the neutral zone, but Air Force controls. That's Madison Hunt. She sends it back in. And puck still in the Utah zone. Howell sends it forward, but it's retrieved by Hunt of Air Force. She tries to start something. The pass gets through, but it does enter the zone. Pimentel sends it back out. Burns sends it out into the neutral zone to Tori, and Tori skates across the blue line on left wing. Oh, and she loses an edge. She had a nice little one-on-one opportunity there, but she goes down. Puck ends up back in the neutral zone. Utah regroups. Whoops. A little bit of foot action there by Cruikshank, and then she carries it in. Oh, and she actually outplayed Horning, and it hit the post.
Hit the post. She tried to clean up her rebound, but just missed it.
Yeah, it bounced out of her reach, but she had a sterling opportunity there. She totally had Horning beat. Horning went down. She faked Horning and saved by the post. All right, here's Air Force with a chance now. Firth has got it. She sends a crossing pass. Actually, she might have been trying to bounce that off the goalie. Doesn't work. It's deflected well by Olsen. Firth sends another cross pass to Dindorf in the corner, who sends in a pass or a shot from the circle. And Utah managed to clear it out of the zone. Fighting for it there at the edge in the neutral zone. Oh, and Brooks was trying to send it up forward, but she goes for a line change. So we're going to have again, new line out on ice. Dindorf tries to carry it up along the boards. Puck gets stripped, and Utah recovers. That's Howell sends it up. I'm sorry, Stevenson sends it up, but a little bit too much on it. All the way into the Air Force zone, it's icing. So they're going to come back into the Utah zone. We'll have a face-off to the left of Olsen.
Utah finding themselves just outside of that playoff race to qualify for the WWCHL Championships in Phoenix, Arizona in mid-February. They find themselves in 5th place. To their advantage, though, they have a lot of games at hand. They've played 9 games compared to their teams ahead of them that have played 12, 18, and 19 games. And so if Utah qualifies in that top 4 bracket, they're in.
Right, and I had a quick chat with head coach Braden Yo, and we talked about that. What's it going to take? She said, it's either going to be she said top 10 in national rankings, because there are 15 slots, but some of those are taken by auto bids. Or, nice stop there by Horning. Or if they can qualify, want to be one of the 4 that qualify for the WWCHL tournament, which I believe is going to be at Oceanside in Arizona this year, and win that tournament, that's an auto bid.
Okay, right.
So they are really, every game, every goal matters from here to the end of the season. I mean, not just like, it's always nice to pad your scores. No. They're going to be fighting for this tooth and nail all the way down to the wire.
Absolutely. And like I was saying yesterday, normally when I see a final score like I saw yesterday, if it's my team, if it's the other team, I don't care who it is, that's you shouldn't be doing that. But the way, just to emphasize, the way these rankings work is your goal differential is part of that. And so these aren't voters that sit down and rank the teams. This is a computerized system that takes goal differential into effect, wins, you name it. And so that's why Utah laying it on to try and improve their ranking as much as possible. They sit at 21 and still have a very good chance at trying to sneak their way in for a bid into the top 10. But they got some big games to play the rest of the way against Arizona State, Colorado State.
And what's hurt them even worse is just the lack of games. We've had so many schedule changes and games canceled or postponed because of the COVID issues for teams all over the country. That lack of total games is also hurting them.
Right, so they just need to keep, they have a lot of games on the schedule right now. Hopefully, we'll see those take place. But moving forward, Utah really making a playoff push these next couple of weekends here in Salt Lake, and then they finish off in Fort Collins playing Colorado State. Which I see right here, that final weekend is also during the proposed WWCHL championship. So not sure how the scheduling will work on that, but
and that might be my mistake in there. So I'll have to go and check to see if maybe I wrote down the wrong date on there. So I apologize.
No, it's no worries. We hope that Utah can finish their season strong and hopefully qualify for those WWCHL championships, in which they did qualify for in their first year. So it'd be nice to see them do that in consecutive seasons. Basically everything they're doing at this point is a first in program history.
And while you and I were chatting about that, Hallie Hansen notched her second goal for the Utes at 7:10. So it's now 2-0. Utah leads Air Force. The shots on goal are a lot more matched now. The Air Force has got, I believe it's 2-2, right? Well, actually, I think it's 4-2. I think the scoreboard's a little behind.
And the scoreboard's just a little bit behind, but Air Force definitely, I'd say they're coming out with some more firepower than they did yesterday afternoon.
I think they had a chance to look at us yesterday, and they've done some things where it's been more successful for them.
Right.
Yesterday, I think maybe I almost wonder if they had the same starting line today as yesterday, but I wonder if they've changed some of the secondary and third lines, because they certainly seem to be keeping up a little bit better. It's not quite as much of a total possession by Utah this afternoon. Oh, and there's a shot by Dindorf that goes wide. I think that was actually tipped on its way in. And I think it was interesting yesterday, Patrick, you and I noted too, we're seeing talent on this team, but what's missing is the teamwork. Oh, and there's a shot, an attempt by Captain Brooke Burns, and nice save by Horning.
Horning looking a lot better today, making some big saves so far. And
She's made some big saves.
For not playing goalie ever before yesterday's game, her technique looks very good.
She looks very polished in there, and we know nothing about her. I mean, she could have played high school or another, like maybe a junior college, something. We don't know. Clearly, she's played before. This is not the first time she's strapped on the pads, and she is doing a really good job, particularly considering she's got a very thin defense in front of her. She's got two pretty solid defenders. If I had to say, I would say Eris Butler and Deans. I believe Deans is also a defender, but after that, it's the bench is a little thin. All right, fighting for the puck. Pliers picks it up, skates through the circle, makes a big turn. Bounces around behind the net to Hansen. Hansen skates across, skates it in towards the goal, and nice save by Horning. Ends up, Hansen collects her own rebound, passes it back to, I believe that's Gracie Caps, who goes for a wrist shot. Another save by Horning. And Horning, especially in his last two saves, you can see she's very good at deflecting the puck away from the play. She deflected both those shots behind the net so that they weren't going to bounce right in front of her and have to deal with them again. So really smart heads up, play by the goalie. All right, fighting for the puck here right in front of us along the boards is Hansen and Deans. And Caps comes up with it. She skates it across, trying to do a backhand, and then Howell picks up the puck, gets poked loose, and she goes for a wrist shot that gets deflected up into the glass and bounces back in. Now Howell's back with it again, skating to the point. Drop pass to Burns. Burns is going to skate it behind the net. She's looking for somebody. Skates it into the circle. Nice crossing pass to Cruikshank, who tries a quick shot, but it hits somebody in the shin pad, bounces back out. Now Dickman's got it. She sends it out to Litzinger, who tries a long wrist shot. Nice save by Horning. Again, deflecting that puck down, away and behind the net. Howell goes for a crossing pass and a shot, and Cruikshank's right there for deflection, but again, a stick save by Horning. Utah's had possession of this puck a long time in this particular possession. And Dickman goes for the wraparound that gets poked away. Howell picks it up in the corner. Sends it up to the point. Nice quick one-timer, looks like by McCain, that hits somebody in the shin pads, bounces back out. So McCain gets a second chance. And then Dickman was there for a rebound. Her shot goes a little wide. Howell fighting for the puck there in the corner. Long shift for this particular line. I would think some of these gals are getting a little winded by now. Oh, and Dickman tries for an excellent deflection. Howell tries the wraparound, but Horning is right there to hug that near post. Pimentel tries to send it in, but it gets hit by a couple of sticks, and finally Air Force clears the puck out of the zone and all the way to the other end. I think that might be icing, and it is. That was a really long possession by Utah in Air Force's zone. It's 7:38 in the first period. The score is 2-0, a much closer match. Air Force is not scoring as many goals or getting as many shots on goal, but they're holding Utah down to just 2 goals right now, with just 7 and a little bit more than 7.5 minutes left to play.
Right. I mean, this is looking a lot better than yesterday's contest for Air Force so far.
Yeah, so clearly they had a chalk talk and something clicked for them, and I think this bodes well for the future of their program. They have some things to look forward to.
I mean, yeah, in the first period of last night's game, or last afternoon's game, I should say, Utah had 6 goals.
Yeah, at this point in the game, it was like, oh boy, it's going to be a high-scoring game. All right, and I believe that Stevenson carries it across, and then Firth picks it up and clears it all the way out, so Utah has to regroup in the neutral zone. Going to be a little bit of a race there. It looks like Weber is back there trying to dig it out. She sends it up into the neutral zone. Oh, and 15, that is Caitlin Roberts. Tries to get a stick on it, but it gets by her, and now it ends up in the Air Force zone. And they finally manage to clear it out. Utah scoops it up and regroups. Looks like that's Tori setting up the play. I'm sorry, April Walton setting up the play in her own zone, carries across the neutral zone, sends it up, and somebody sends it up. Nice little tap up to Gracie Caps, and she goes for a shot. Nice stick save by Horning. Utah recovers in the corner. Comes in, skates it in. Hansen gets in the front in the slot. Oh, and Horning, wow, Horning got screened on that, and the puck was deflected, and she still managed to clear the puck out of her crease and off to the side. And number 6, that's our Ella Weber, sends it in deep. So Utah decides they're going to go for a line change. Utah collects puck in their own zone, sends it up to Gracie Caps, who sends it up to Hansen. Plier loses an edge. Hansen sends it in. Caps goes in and chases it. They're in Air Force's zone. Looks like Howell's fighting for the puck along the boards. Plier comes and sends a nice centering pass to Caps. Again, another pad save by Horning. McCain sends it back up. to Dickman. She skates it in. She's heading straight for the goal. She knows what she wants. Nice wrist shot, pad save, deflection, picked up by Pimentel or Howell. I'm sorry, I can't quite see her number, and Horning makes another save.
Really nice save from
it's
Horning.
Cruikshank, yeah.
I mean, Horning is really
She's really looking good today.
really looking good today. I mean, she is
Gets a little
looking
tap.
poised.
Gets a little tap from Aaron Firth. She's looking very poised. And again, that deflection was a quick one. And she was already down. She kept her head up, kept her chest up, and got the save. All right, 5:17 left in the period. Utah leading 2-0. Shots on goal for Utah is 16. Shots on goal for Air Force is 2. So again, quite the differential.
That's a really nice shot there from Grace Cruikshank.
Yes, thank you for picking that up. I was too busy staring at my screen. Anyway, Grace Cruikshank, who is, Utah's top scorer, gets her point in today.
Really nice shot, lifts it top shelf. There's not really much Horning could do there. And just lifts it right above her left shoulder there.
So with 5 minutes left in the period, the score becomes 3-0. And then
She tried to.
Pimentel goes for a quick little wrister, and Horning stops that. And
I think
decides
it was also Grace Cruikshank trying to go in and do the same exact
okay.
move there, and it was a nice save. But sometimes it's kind of interesting to watch. Is in a situation there where Utah was crashing the net hard, into Horning. There's not really much of a response. Like in the men's game, we'd probably see an all-out brawl, but
That's true. Yeah, after the whistle, a lot of pushing and shoving.
Right.
The gals just go and skate away.
You know what? That's what hockey's supposed to be, right?
Right. I mean, it's supposed to be a fast game. It's supposed to be about speed and, skills.
Not about fighting.
I mean, that's one of the joys of an Olympic ice sheet is you got more space to skate. That's the whole purpose.
Right.
It changes the game. You're not going to be successful with the holding and the
Right.
slowing down, and actually you're not going to be successful as the dump and chase with all that extra real estate.
Right. I mean, typically, the WWCHO. I guess the WWCHO only having 2 teams play out of Arizona, but in the WCHO for the men's, a lot of the teams are playing out of Arizona.
Oh, and a long wrister from Alexandra Bai near the blue line. I think Horning was screened. She didn't go down right away. I don't think she saw that. So unfortunately for her, puck goes in, 5-hole, I believe. 4-0 Utah with 4:28 left in the period. But please finish what you're saying about the
I was
men's
saying, just
D1.
a lot of teams are coming to Utah, and it's almost like a double-edged sword for the visiting team. You have a bigger ice sheet, and you're at altitude, so it's a little bit hard to play. Probably wouldn't say that for teams like University of Colorado, Air Force, Colorado State. They're coming from, if not a higher environment, but still. An Olympic-sized ice sheet at altitude is not an easy ask for a lot of players.
Right. I mean, it's a lot. You don't think it's that it's only 15 feet, but
Right.
when you got to play at top speed for 3 periods, that's a lot to ask.
Right. I mean, it's 15 feet wider, but the amount of area that adds to the amount of ice you have to cover, it's a lot. It's a lot of coverage that you have to make sure. While it is nice that you can move the puck around a little bit more. It also tires you out, obviously. So, it's like I said, kind of a double-edged sword when you come to play here in Salt Lake. And, Utah tries to use that to their full advantage every day.
So nifty little glove save by Horning on that hard wrist shot by Stevens from the blue line. She hangs on to it. We're going to face off, and Utah recovers. Howell goes for a wrist shot from the blue line. Nice save by Horning. Howell picks it up again, skates it in a little closer. Another save by Horning. Utah goes for the wraparound, and that is Hansen. And she gets clogged up a little by the defense, by Air Force defense. Puck ends up loose in the circle. Hansen goes with a quick wrister. Oh, and they tried for another wraparound. Horning was a little slow coming to that post, but she gets there in time. Plyer sends it around the boards, deep into the Air Force corner. Hansen fighting for that with Hunt in the corner, fighting for the puck, finally squirts loose. Plyer picks it up. She goes for a quick wrist shot. Keeps it low, which is smart. She goes for another one, and that one goes wide. And the puck comes out in neutral zone. Hal picks it up, sends it back in. And Utah, it's a good time for half a line change. Cap's digging for it hard in the corner. She's going after it with Hunt. And Hunt actually managed to clear the zone with it. McCain handles the puck in the neutral zone, sends it up along the boards. And Air Force managed to send it back in, and it's now in the Utah zone, so Pimentel's got to start behind her own net. She starts the breakout, sends it up to Cruikshank. Cruikshank sends it up to Hansen. This is a speedy line, Hansen and Cruikshank. Hansen skates it in, Cruikshank picks it up. Skates it through the circle, she goes for the wrist shot, and Horning's right there with the save. She holds it. It's going to be a face-off to her right. 2 minutes, 16 seconds left in the period. Utah leads Air Force 4-0. 16 shots for Utah, 2 shots for Air Force. So face-off, it looks like it's going to be Dickman and Firth. Utah controls the face-off. But Air Force managed to clear the puck out of the zone. Trying to start something in the neutral zone. The one thing that Air Force is having trouble with is their defense has been much better today, but they're really having trouble generating any kind of offense, which is evident by the lack of shots on goal. But they're just having a hard time getting past the center line. Oh, and the puck's skipping around, bouncing around in front of the goal, and it finally gets poked loose. McCain picks it up, skates around, starts the play, sends it up to Michael. She skates it across the blue line on the left wing. And nice little poke check by Firth. They end up in the corner, fighting for the puck along the boards. Cruikshank comes in to try and help out. She comes up with it. Nice centering pass to, I believe that's Dickman. And boy, Dickman was right on top of Horning, and Horning makes another fine save.
I mean, I'm super impressed with their technique. It really is. It's improved, and she's been making saves that she wasn't making yesterday, which is really encouraging to see.
Yes, and I think they've kind of gotten their defense a little bit more solid in front of her today compared to yesterday, where she's not kind of scrambling all over the place. The only person, the only person who's left to try and defend against, a couple of Utes bearing down on her. And I think the key will be is how, if Air Force can keep this up for a full 3 periods, because that takes a lot of gas out of you when you're trying to cover with a short team.
Right.
Oh, and again, is that Hallie Hansen with the goal? I am so sorry I took my eyes off the, I'm going 0 for today. I'm just missing the plays.
Looks like it might be Katie Plyer with the goal.
Well, we'll see. We'll listen to see if.
Or excuse me, not Katie Plyer. Michaela Torrey, I couldn't see her.
Torrey, yeah.
The 2 on her jersey.
Yep, Michaela Torrey, number 22. Because Hallie Hansen's working on a hat trick already in the first period. She's got 2 goals, so she gets one more, she'll get a hat trick. All right, so the score is now 4-0. Utah leading Air Force. We got just over a minute left in the first period. Stevenson back there trying to scoop the puck up. Oh, and then Madison Hunt comes up with it instead. Centering pass to Deans. Deans tries to send it in towards the goal, hits a bunch of people and bounces out into the circle. Torrey picks it up, sends it ahead to Stevenson. Stevenson skates it in. Oh, and it gets kicked loose by an Air Force. That's Deans. And Horning sits on it, puts a glove on it, and we'll have a face-off to her right. Just 42 seconds left in the period.
So it actually looks like we got 5 different goal scorers so far for the Utes.
Ah.
Everyone getting involved.
Oh, so the first one I thought was Hallie Hansen was actually Dickman, so my mistake. Yeah, so pretty evened out there. We've got Dickman, Hansen, Cruikshank, Bai, and Torrey, each with 1 goal apiece. All right. Hansen looking for somebody. She tries a centering pass. Plyer is there, but the puck just gets knocked loose completely out of the zone, and here comes number 8, Dindorf, chasing it down. Oh, I'm sorry, Hughes, Kathleen Hughes. Dindorf is number 6, Kathleen Hughes is number 8, my apologies. Down to the last final seconds, Caps carries it along the boards, sends it to Plyer. And puck gets poked loose. Utah has to scoop it up and regroup, and that will end the first period. So the teams will go into the locker room after the first period. Utah leading Air Force 5-0. So I would say, definitely, as you said, Patrick, an improved-looking Air Force today.
I mean, if you want to take the quick and simple positives away, I mean, Utah scored 6 last night on Air Force in the first period. So Air Force, the defense is being a bit more locked down, and so looking pretty good for the Air Force Academy so far after the first period of play. And
I'm just kind of going off of my memory, but I don't think Horning faced more than 20 shots in the first period. So I think she's faced more shots today than yesterday.
We can even go back and check that. So yesterday, the first period, she faced 18 shots.
Yeah, so she's faced 8 more shots today and let in
less.
One fewer goal.
I mean, I think if you're going to take anything away from the first period, from both sides, I'm going to say Horning so far player of the game. I mean, really been impressed with her poise and her sophistication in net today compared to yesterday. Almost like night and day, just to the point where, the technique is there. The transition she's making from post to post, her kickouts there. I mean, she really does look sharp. She's making saves that she didn't make yesterday, which is really encouraging to see. So really good for her to start out this game like this. And like you said, hopefully, for the Falcons, they're going to go in the locker room pretty much say, let's kind of keep playing the way we've been playing, like lay it on a little bit more, and you never know. Like, some bounces go our way. We scored 3 goals yesterday. You score 3 goals right now, it's a 2-goal game.
Right, and they have the Hunt Firth line where they have the potential to score. So they've just got to put that together, and that'll definitely help.
Absolutely.
All right, folks, we are going to take a little break as well, and we'll be back with the second period.
Welcome to the Rocky Mountains.
Welcome to open trails and new vistas.
Welcome to stunning Red Rock.
Welcome to the greatest snow on earth.
By the tree of broken glass, where the home.
Welcome to game day fun.
Anything could last. So let's go and take the words that we know.
Welcome to the party.
Of thoughtful dreams. But if you listen, you can still hear.
Welcome to Pac-12 Sports.
Welcome to world-class research.
Welcome to the arts.
Welcome to real-world experiences.
We can go to the bridge that crosses over fear.
Welcome to a great education.
Love and what it does to those they hold near. So let's run till the water.
Welcome to new friends.
We can toss our worries far away from our hearts. And if you listen,
Welcome to the time of your life.
not hear them calling out our names, calling out our
Welcome to all you can imagine.
Though we might fade and fall, we'll keep on standing tall. This world is in our hands. So get up and grab it, walk and see. Those gray clouds look close, but we have come and gone.
Welcome to the University of Utah.
So get up and grab it, walk and see.
Welcome to the Rocky Mountains.
Welcome to open trails and new vistas.
Welcome to stunning Red Rock.
Welcome to the greatest snow on earth.
By the tree of broken glass, where the home
Welcome to Game Day Fun.
Anything could last. So let's go and take the words that we know.
Welcome to the party!
Of thoughtful dreams. But if you listen, you can still hear
Welcome to Pac-12 Sports.
our names, calling out our names.
Welcome to World Class Research.
We'll keep on standing tall. This world is in our hands. So get up and grab your
Welcome to the arts.
top, no trap. We are tough as nails. Come on, this is our land.
Welcome to Real World Experiences.
We can go to that bridge that crosses over fear.
Welcome to a great education.
Love and what it does to those they hold near. So let's run till the water.
Welcome to new friends.
We can toss our worries far away from our hearts. And if you listen,
Welcome to the time of your life.
not hear them calling out our names, calling out our
Welcome to all you can imagine.
Though we might faint and fall, we'll keep on standing tall. This world is in our hands. So get up and grab and walk and see. Those gray clouds look close, but we have come and gone.
Welcome to the University of Utah.
So get up and grab and walk and see.
My name is Marguerite Van Komen, and I'm a snowbird ski patrolman. My dog's name is Frank. What a good boy, huh? What a good boy you are. I start every morning waking up and having breakfast with the dog, and then we finish every day having dinner together, but everything in the middle changes. We train them using their own instincts, so instead of hunt for dinner, they're hunting for humans. A lot of thought goes into choosing these dogs. Number one, they've got to be able to handle the cold. Number two, they got to be pretty hardy. And three, we're looking for very high drive dogs. The dog that is going to chew your sofa up at home, we want that dog. The people, the mountain at Snowbird, it's just special. And everything you want to do is here in Salt Lake. Get off the plane, grab your gear from the luggage cart, and within 30 to 45 minutes, you're up here and skiing on snow. You know, Salt Lake is super unique. We have 4 full seasons. So you can come up, ski all morning till the snow gets a little too smushy, and then you go and hit 18 at the golf course at the bottom of the mouth, and then you can go out for a wonderful dinner and see theater. It's amazing how much you can fit into your day. And not only do we have everything that you want to do, but we have great people to do it with. Everyone wants to be outdoors, happy, and go and play. Every day is different, and I love that. I love showing up to work and going, what is on the plate today? Snowbird is my family, and Salt Lake is my home, and Frank is a great part of that. My name is Marguerite Van Komen. I'm a snowbird ski patrolman, and I am Salt Lake.
Thanks for calling the Salt Lake Visitor Center. If you have any questions, please leave a message and we'll get back to you.
Hello! I tell you what, I'm just going to put you on speaker. All right, a little about me. I'm a bit of a phenomenal skier, so I want to take my family on a vacay, which is short for vacation. Hope you don't mind the abbreviations. I'm just short of time today, so I need to sort of hurry things along. Just a few simple questions for you. They call Salt Lake Ski City, but you do ski in the mountains, right? I'm just picturing myself skiing down the sidewalk there next to the shops. Knowing my luck, I'll do one of my big flips and end up in the traffic. So I don't want that to be the case. Look, I've got to go. You're really keeping me here. Although I will say, I'm going to see your Utah Jazz play a basketball game. And I've heard there's a couple of Australians in the team. So here's my question. Are they causing you any trouble? I just had a thought. The average snowfall near Salt Lake is 500 inches. If I was to utilise all of that to build a giant snow person, Would that be majestic or a bit scary? Oh, hey, listen, just quietly. I'm a big family guy. You know that. I've told you that. But after a few days with them, I'm going to need a drink. That's legal, right? I hear Utah has the youngest population of any state. So if I was to head down to one of your hot rockin' clubs or a social event, would there be a youth person in there that might be able to explain Snapchat to me? My kids just won't do it. Now, I've heard there's a bit of a Sharks versus Jets rivalry between the skiers and the snowboarders. And if I made that movie, would you watch it? Ooh, when was your last Yeti sighting? Are you getting all this, by the way? I'm assuming you can rewind. The Utah state bird is a California gull. I mean, even you've got to admit that is confusing. I guess that's more of a statement than a question, but still I thought I'd bring it up. Now, your Ski City Super Pass, I take it that's part of the Marvel Universe. If I get that, will people call me the Winter Soldier Man? I really wish you could see this. All right, well, this would be costing me, so I better go. Thanks for everything. Bye.
Hi, this is Beth from the Salt Lake Visitor Center calling you back to answer your questions. First off, yes, you can absolutely drink here. We'd prefer if you ski in the mountains, and I'm happy to call you Winter Soldier.
Welcome to the Rocky Mountains.
Welcome to open trails and new vistas.
Welcome to stunning Red Rock.
Welcome to the greatest snow on earth.
By the tree of broken glass, where the hope
Welcome to Game Day Fun.
anything could last. So let's go and take the words that we know.
Welcome to the party!
Sea of thoughtful dreams. But if you listen, you can still hear
Welcome to Pac-12 Sports.
our names, calling out our names.
Welcome to world-class research.
We'll keep on standing tall. This world is in our hands. So get up and grab your
Welcome to the Arts.
Time no trip, we are tough as nails. Come on, this is our land.
Welcome to Real World Experiences.
We can go to that bridge that crosses over fear.
Welcome to a great education.
Love and what it does to those they hold near. So let's run till the water.
Welcome to new friends.
We can toss our worries far away from our hearts. And if you listen,
Welcome to the time of your life.
not hear them calling out our names, calling out our
Welcome to all you can imagine.
Though we might faint and fall, we'll keep on standing tall. This world is in our hands. So get up and grab and walk and see. Those gray clouds look close, but we have come and gone.
Welcome to the University of Utah.
So get up and grab and walk and see.
Well, Isabella Horning, the brand new goalie for Air Force, is her first game appearing for Air Force, has done an outstanding job. It doesn't seem like it with 5 goals, but she's also had to face 26 shots. Getting ready for the center puck, and for Utah, the 5 goals it's been very democratic. 1 goal apiece for Michaela Dykeman, Hallie Hansen, Grace Cruikshank, Alexandra Bai, and Michaela Torrey. And we are off. Plier controls the puck on the faceoff, skates it into the Air Force zone herself. Puck gets poked loose, still fighting for it. And Hansen comes up with it. I'm sorry, Plier comes up with it, skates behind and tries a little wrap around, but Horning is right there, and she actually pushes the puck away and behind the net. Good work there by Horning. Plier retrieves it, sends it up to Caps, and Air Force manages to poke it loose, and so Hal's got to pick it up, skate into her own zone, and regroup to start the breakout. She sends it up to Michael, and it gets poked loose again. And Aaron Firth managed to poke it in and send it into the Utah zone, where it's retrieved by Stevenson. Oh, and then Riley Deans tries for a quick wraparound, which is denied by Sarah Olson. And that fast skating Gracie Caps picks up a rebound right at the blue line, skates it in, gets past her defender, goes for a backhand, and Horning smothers it. It's going to be a face-off to her right. Should point out that Utah's got some skills as well, and we were talking about Air Force, but Utah's got some skills as well. Gracie Caps is one of our, I'd say probably one of the fastest skater on the team, and she's got excellent stick handling skills. You can always count on Grace Cruikshank and Michaela Dykeman to put some points on the board.
Absolutely. I mean, there's also a lot of skill on this Utah women's team as well, and I honestly think they're showing in the overall ACHA standings. I mean, honestly, 21 out of 28 isn't that bad, but I really think there's a lot of skill that's going to mature on this team. They're pretty young too, because obviously with all these new names coming in, so a lot of good skill on this team. Credit to Utah as well.
Well, and the other thing, again, that schedule missing a lot of those games really hurt the Utah women. They missed a lot of games that they could have had against conference teams. And what they did is they also picked some teams to go to the East Coast in some very powerful, strong women's divisions. And so that differential really hurt them, and they couldn't make up for it by playing games closer to home in conference, teams in conference. And speaking of Dickman, it looks like she knocks one in. I think that was Dickman. Let me see. The hair is in the way.
Cruikshank, maybe.
Oh, is it Cruikshank?
I think
okay.
it looked like she was the one
who knocked it
celebrating, but
there's a little bit of a scrum. The puck was kind of skidding around in front of the crease, and looks like Cruikshank gets her second goal of the game, knocking one in there. And we're going to be counting on her to score goals as we get to the end of the season.
Yeah, but Utah, like you said, Anita, they had to go in and play some of the top talent in the ACHA W1 level, and and traveling all the way from the East Coast from here is also not, favorable. It's a long trip. You're going through some time zones.
In fact, the airline lost their bag of sticks.
Right. So, I mean, there's a lot of complications when you're traveling that far. And
so a minor correction, that was Michaela Dickman who got that goal, that quick goal in the second period. I just looked at the scoreboard. So, sorry, folks, sometimes it's a little bit of scramble, but So Dickman gets her second goal of the game. 17-27
Grace
in the second period.
Also, Grace Cruikshank just all over the score sheet tonight. She's having a
Yes.
3-point performance so far,
Yes.
saying a goal and 2 assists.
Yes, and she's definitely one of the contributors that way. All right, we're gonna have icing.
You know, it's really telling when you look at a score sheet, because there's a reason why a goal and an assist are worth the same amount on a stat sheet.
That's one of the things you got to love about hockey.
Right,
A goal
I
and
mean,
assist are worth the same.
You look at some of the leaders in any league, whatever it's the NHL, you look at Olympics, you look at women's hockey, you look at college hockey, any level of hockey, you're always going to find that you're going to have some of those top 5 players in points in the league. They're going to have almost double the amount of assists that they have goals. And that just shows they're a playmaker. And that you can be a very efficient point producer and still not score many goals.
Because nobody's going to go end to end and score their own goal.
In fact, I would rather even have a playmaker on my team rather than that sniper who can pick their pocket on the net. I mean, while that is very useful, when you have a playmaker, it gets the whole team involved, and it
Correct.
doesn't really necessarily mean that you have to have good shooters. You just can set up a play. I mean, there are goals that we see all the time where it's like, that goal's nothing without that perfect assist.
Right, and a playmaker is going to open it up for, like you said, everyone gets a scoring opportunity from a playmaker, whereas a goal, that's one person.
Right, and like, you know, some of the top players you see now in the NHL are just playmakers, especially like me coming from Chicago, Patrick Kane. I mean, some of the best passes and plays you'll see are set up by that man right there. And, you know, scoring goals is great. It feels great. And, you know, assists aren't always as glamorous, but they're worth the same amount.
Absolutely true. That truer words were not spoke. All right, so we've got, looks like icing again in the Utah zone. So we're going to come back to Air Force. And Air Force isn't looking quite as crisp, I would say, just at the start of this period. You know, it's going to be a long game for them because, again, we've mentioned this a couple of times. They're very short-staffed. The bench is quite short.
Looking at their last 5 games, that stretches back into mid-October, meaning that they played 2 games in October, 2 games in November, 1 game in January. Actually, 2 games in January, including yesterday. So that's this team also not playing a lot of games. And, you know, while you think rest is a good thing, rest is a good thing. It really does help a team. But the only way to get better is if you keep playing games, right? And so
practices does not make up for missed games.
Right, and so, you know, honestly, if you were go over to, you know, talk to Eric Magnuson, the head coach of the Air Force Academy, he'd probably tell you that he's like, yeah, you know, if it means getting, you know, beat a lot, I'd rather play more games to see these girls develop and, you know, play into a better, you know, form.
Well, and, you know, again, to Air Force's credit, is that a hand pass? Oh, we have a penalty. Looks like it's going to be hooking.
Hooking, and it's going to be on Firth. Well, she was the one who almost had that breakaway.
She had the breakaway, so I'm not sure when the hook happened.
She is not happy about that at all.
No, it's like, how could I end up, like, ahead of everyone if I'm hooking? But I was going to say, to the gals' credit, right? They're playing these teams, and they're not giving up. So clearly they are learning from this. Experience has been good for them. Like, you know,
right.
if Magnuson made that choice, we'll just speculate that, then – you know,
yeah,
he also had them prepared for, hey, this is how you guys are going to get better by playing these better teams. Watch how they play, go toe-to-toe with them, and we will walk away with things that are going to make us better.
Absolutely, and even as a fan, if you have a really good understanding of the game, you know, you realize that when you go to a game and your team's not the best, well, you know, whatever sport it is, in hockey in this case, but you're seeing a talented team play, and even as a fan, you can appreciate that watching a team that's, you know, really good. I'm not even saying that Utah is, you know, a top team in the WWCHL. Just saying that when you're playing top-level talent, it really is a treat to watch, and everybody learns. The fans, the coaches, the players, obviously. And so it's just an overall learning experience for everyone. And it really is, you know, playing good talent is the only way you get better.
Absolutely. So 1:20 left in the power play for Utah. Air Force so far has managed to defend themselves shorthanded, keeping the puck out of the goal. Here comes Utah. Hansen carries across the blue line on the left wing, skates it across, drops pass to Cruikshank. And Cruikshank tries to carry it in, but she gets hung up. She's actually double teamed right now. And Air Force managed to clear the puck out of zone. So Bai's got to go skate back and retrieve the puck. Oh, actually, it looks like it's going to be Stevenson picking up the puck in her own zone, starting the breakout. She carries it through the neutral zone. Across the blue line. Oh, and she gets tied up by 2 defenders. Boy, that sure looked like interference to me, but no call. And Bai picks up the puck again, back behind her own net, starts the breakout, sends it up. Ooh, to Dickman, a little bit of a miscommunication there, but fortunately, Stevens there to pick it up. Stevenson looking for an open person, and she finds her. She sends it to Howell. Howell sends it up there, but it gets hit by a stick. Horning makes a nice stick save to poke the puck away. Kate picks it up behind their net. She tries to bring it around. Ends up in the corner. She's being followed closely, defended closely. And the puck squirts out in the middle, and Deans picks it up, and looks like we've got another hooking call, and I think it's going to be on Utah this time. Oh, no, it's not. It's going to be on Air Force. Wow. So now Air Force is going to be, well, it's only 3 seconds. So Erin Firth, the first penalty, she's in for 3 seconds. And now it looks like Eris Butler is going to be in for 2 minutes. So Air Force.
She's not happy about the call
No,
either.
she's not happy about
They're
the call.
both
And
talking
again,
down
I
there.
didn't see that hook either. I thought it was on Utah. I thought it was going to be a Utah player. But I'm up here, they're down there. Air Force is going to have to defend for 3 seconds, 5-on-3.
Yeah, unfortunately, they don't like to take the broadcaster's advice for penalty calls.
Well,
up
that's
here.
there's probably a good reason for that. That's probably a good reason. I'm not really trained to be an official. And Utah actually does take advantage of the power play. It's still only the 4-on-5 power play.
Yeah, you know, just in that situation, I was just about to describe that, you know, even when, you know, you have a 5-on-3 for 3 seconds, it really operates when the 5-on-3 penalty is called. And that faceoff's all the way down in the opposing team's zone. It really operates like a 5-on-3 for closer to 7 seconds.
Right, it takes a little while to kind of
Right.
get that player back into the action. All right, so Utah does score on the power play goal. Big scramble in front of the net. A lot of bodies there. Puck finally comes loose. Air Force is really buckling down hard on their defense. And Utah managed to get, Hansen picks up the puck just outside the zone, sends it in, and actually right on net. And oh man, Caps tries to come in and capitalize on the rebound, but she kind of whiffed on the backhand, so puck comes all the way back out. Oh, and Stevenson whiffs on, that's a rare mistake. And now we have another penalty, and this one's gonna be on Utah. Slashing. So Erin Firth with a shot on Sarah Olsen, makes a save, but in the meantime, Stevenson's gonna go spend some quality time in the box, 2 minutes for slashing. And Utah's gonna go on the penalty kill.
First penalty against Utah so far this
penalty,
afternoon.
Yep, first penalty. And we remarked about this yesterday as well. You know, fairly clean game. Those hooks, I'm not really sure about the hooks. Slashing, that one I did see. But still, you know, just 3 penalties in the game so far. Hunt with a nice wrist shot from long distance, deflected by Olsen. Hunt picks it up again and gets poked loose by Michael. And Utah's going to have to regroup here. Minute, 37 seconds left of the penalty kill for Utah. Right now we've got Dickman, Michael, Plyer. I'm sorry, not Plyer. Boy, I'm just losing my mind. Cruikshank on the penalty kill. And Utah sends it deep into the Air Force zone. No icing, of course, because they're shorthanded. Air Force trying to get something going here. But picked up by Pimentel. She sends it into the Air Force zone. Horning has to actually put a stick on it, and she realized she's got a Utah player coming down on her, so she goes ahead and puts a glove on it. We're going to have a face-off to her left. 1 minute, 1 second left in the penalty against Utah. Utah leading this game 7-0 with 11:47 left in the second period. Utah controls the face-off. Puck kind of squirts around. Howell's back. I'm sorry, Burns is back there to pick it up. McCain actually, and then here comes Riley Deans. She carries it into the Utah zone, and she gets puck stripped away from her. Puck bounced around a little bit, and Utah picks it up. Looks like Burns, and she's having a little fight there with her defender, which looks like it's Aaron Firth.
And that was
Aaron Firth actually picks up with him. Boy, that looked like a body check to me.
Yeah, you know, a little bit of incidental contact that found its way to the boards there. A little bit of a dangerous play. Could have gone either way, but all that matters is that it looks like it was Burns is okay, because that was a little bit of a scary play to watch.
That was a little scary play to watch, and Firth is clearly a very strong player. All right, now Deans sends it up to Firth. She carries across the blue line, and she takes a wrist shot that goes wide. Puck ends up squirting all the way around. Caps tries to clear it, but Deans keeps it in. She sends it back in. Utah's now back at full strength, so we've got 5-on-5. Hansen picks it up behind her net, skates it around, looking for the breakout. She sends it up along the boards, and Hunt is there to pop it back in, but then Hansen picks up that and carries across the blue line on the left wing. She skates in at the goal, centering pass to Plyer, who misses on the possible deflection opportunity. Cruikshank, I'm sorry, not Cruikshank, Weber with a hard slap shot from the point, gets deflected out. Puck ends up in the corner. Utah working their box, their diamond. Puck still in zone. Caps goes in and digs it out behind the net. She tries a quick wraparound, denied by Horning. Dean sends it out, and the puck does end up clearing the zone, neutral zone. Utah goes and regroups, and here they come again. Caps carries across the blue line, but she loses the puck. And Firth picks up an errant puck, an errant pass. Puck is sitting there loose, and finally, looks like Michael skates it across, and she goes for a wrister that goes wide. Goes back in the corner, follows her own shot up. Cruikshank back there, fighting for the puck. Getting a little help from Dickman, who sends it out to Cruikshank. She comes around the side of the net, into the circle. She tries to do a drop pass to Howell, but unfortunately a little miscommunication. A pass evades Howell, and now it ends up in the Utah zone with Deans back there and Howell fighting for the puck. Bai comes in to help out. She sends it up to Michael, who sends it up. Nice little no-look pass to Dickman. Now Nickman's got it across the blue line. She's all by herself, one-on-one with the goalie. And oh, she kind of whiffs on it. The puck actually goes off the heel of her stick. And so she doesn't get as much on it as she wants to. Horning makes the save. We're going to have a face-off. 8 minutes, 47 seconds left in the second period. Utah leads 7-0. Utah really out-shooting Air Force. Air Force is doing a pretty good job on defense, all things considering, but they just can't get the offense together, just not getting the shot opportunities. Okay, Utah controls off the faceoff. Tori sends it into the corner. Samantha Kane comes up to pick it up, skates it along the boards, and behind the net. She sends it off to the corner. Nice centering pass, goes all the way through. Walton goes and chases off in the corner. She sends it up to the point. That would be Burns, who sends it back into the center. Smart play by Burns. Oh, and Tori and Hunt going after the puck. Tori goes down in a heap. I don't think that's going to be a penalty. I think they just froze the puck, so we're going to have a little face-off.
And you know what? At this point in Utah only had 40 shots all game yesterday. Now they have 41. We're here in the second period, but the score is much different.
Yes.
The Falcons have faced way more shots and way more chances
and fewer
from Utah
are going in
today, but fewer are going in, right? And the score is a lot less than what it was yesterday. And that, I mean, again, credit to Air Force for coming out and really shutting down Utah, because they made those adjustments after last night's game, and you can really tell.
Right. And again, you know, it's admirable too, because they realize they don't have their offense, you know, isn't gelling. They're not going to be able to get a lot of shots, but they're not letting that affect their defense. They're not letting that get into their heads and thinking we got to change something to try and generate more offense, which is a mistake teams sometimes get when they're this far behind. And their defense is staying solid. So Caps with a little shot on, deflected by Horning. And Dean sends it around all the way around to her teammate Mosher, and Mosher's going to try and clear it along the boards. Puck gets stripped and poked loose from her. Utah comes up with it. Stevenson now, she turns a nice wrister. Oh, and boy, it hits Plyer right in the arm, and it missed her pad. You can see, boy, that stung. That's going to leave a mark. Hunt of Air Force comes up with it, tries to clear the puck out, and it gets poked away. And Plyer comes up with it. She says, nice centering pass to Caps, and what a save by Horning. That was a perfect one-timer. Plyer sends another wrist shot in on Horning. She sends that one off to the side. Hansen comes in with a shot. Kind of ends up deflecting off a couple of bodies and back in behind the boards. Plyer comes back. She skates through the circle. She sends a wrist shot in and goes just wide. She's like looking at the ceiling like, oh, I can't believe I missed that one. Air Force still not able to clear the puck out. It's still in zone, ends up behind the net. Hunt tries to send it around the boards. Hansen sends it back. She skates it in. Oh, and she loses the handle on it. And Firth finally clears it. 6 minutes, 20 seconds left in the second period. And we're going to have an icing. So the puck's going to come back to the Air Force zone. We're going to have a face-off. Yeah, I think, that's a really excellent point, Patrick, you made about the number of shots that Air Force is having to face and the goal differential. It's really pretty commendable that there are fewer goals scored despite the much higher shots on goal.
And that's going to frustrate Utah because
Correct.
after yesterday night's performance, they want to come in and, like I said, pad their goal differential to hopefully up their ranking. And right now they're not looking the same way they looked yesterday on the scoreboard wise with goals. But Utah's going to keep trying to, force their way in and get as many goals as possible. But Air Force is making it harder to do that this afternoon.
And I think, if you were Utah as well, what's frustrating is you're not actually doing anything wrong. You're playing the same games you played yesterday, and
Right.
it's not working today, which, it'll be interesting to see what they do for the third period.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's just Air Force is just hats off. They're playing a good game today.
All right. Here we go. It's Bai carrying it up the left side, across the blue line on the left wing. Chases down into the corner herself. Dickman picks it up. She skates it around and doing a little bit of cycling along the boards there. Cruikshank picks it up. Good job with the cycling. That was a really nice, that was a pretty cycle just right now. And Cruikshank goes down. And Air Force managed to get it to the point, but Bai keeps it in and she sends a wrist shot in there. Oh my goodness, it deflected off of 2 shin pads and Horning still deflected it away. It literally zigged and zagged on its way to the goal, and Horning still managed to clear it. All right, puck ends up squirting loose, and now it's in the Utah zone. Bai's racing after it. No icing, they're going to wave it off, so she sends it around the boards. 4 minutes, 40 seconds left in the second period. Deans picks it up, managed to keep it in the Utah zone. A little bit of a scrap there, still trying to keep it in, and finally Utah managed to clear the puck. Firth managed to pick the puck up and it bounces off a skate, and she manages to control it, but then it bounced back into the neutral zone, and Utah tries to start something, but they turn it over. And finally, Deans comes up with it. She skates it along the boards. Nice little move along the boards. Skates across the blue line on the right side. Oh, and she goes down. She loses an edge. Oh, and then Francis tries to center it, but she also loses an edge. And now the puck gets sent all the way into the Air Force zone, and it is going to be icing. So they're going to come on back, and we'll do it over again with a face-off in the Utah zone. 3 minutes, 59 seconds left. Score is 7-0, Utah over Air Force. I think it's also interesting that I don't think Utah's had quite as many shots on goal in this last half of the second period compared to the first half of the second period. I don't know if maybe they're trying to work on some plays or anything, but or if Air Force has just been that successful at shutting them down, but not nearly as many shots on goal for Utah in the second half of this period. And here comes Stevenson. Oh, and she goes down, but no penalty. Puck ends up going all the way around the boards. Firth picks it up. She carries it across into the neutral zone. Oh, sorry, not Firth. Hunt, who passes to Firth, who passes it to Deans. And Deans is losing the handle on it, so Firth is there to pick it up. She tries to send her back to her teammate. Deans is there. I'm sorry, that wasn't Deans. That was number 6, Dindorf. And Deans goes and fetches the puck in her own zone, starts the play from behind the net. Sends the pass a little bit too far ahead. A hunch, she can't quite get to it, and I believe we're going to have icing. Yep. She intended to get it to her teammate, but it was just a little bit too far ahead of her. We got 3 minutes to go, and, you know, amazingly enough, there hasn't been a goal scored in, what, the last 10 minutes, I believe? Or perhaps the last 15 minutes. I think we scored 1 goal, 2 goals.
Grace Cruikshank at 6:33 into the period was the last goal, and so it's been a while since we've seen a goal so far.
So
and
interesting.
Air Force, just the defensive, I shouldn't say onslaught, but
and there's a scramble by the net, and the official loses sight of the puck, so they blow the whistle dead. So we're going to have a face-off, and that's going to be to the left of Air Force goalie Horning. And taking the face-off, it's going to be Caps for Utah and Firth for Air Force. And Utah controls. Weaver's going to go for a nice little slap shot that goes wide. Puck ends up in the corner. Caps fighting for it in the corner. Looks like she's there with Hunt. Still fighting for it. Still fighting for it. Puck finally comes loose. Oh, and then still fighting for it. And then Air Force comes up with it, tries to send it along the boards. Plyer comes up with it. She does a nice job dropping the pass to her teammate.
It's a really nice pass.
Yeah, nice drop passes, nice cycling there along that right side. Caps tries to send it in, it bounces off, so she goes and tries it again. Hansen picks it up, skates through the circle, a close range shot. Horning's right there from the chest protector to the glove. 2 minutes, 13 seconds left in the period. Oh, I did not see this. We have a penalty, interference on Air Force. Going to the box is going to be that's Riley Deans, number 9. In the box for 2 minutes for interference. That means for pretty much the rest of the period, Air Force is going to have to defend shorthanded. Dickman takes the faceoff and Utah controls the puck. Bai sends it around into the corner. Dickman back to Cruikshank. Cruikshank back to Dickman. And she sends it in all the way across. Stevenson picks it up on the opposite side. She sends it, centers to Cruikshank, who in the circle, who sends it back out to the point. Back to Stevenson. Back to Bai, who's going for a nice hard wrist shot, but gets deflected by Horning. Bai has a particularly nice hard wrister that she can release pretty quickly. And sends puck back out in the corner. Dickman comes up with it. She sends to Bai, cycling again. I'm sorry, not Bai, to Cruikshank. Cruikshank skates it in, comes right in through the slot, and she scores. She beats Horning. She deked Horning. Horning went to her left, and Cruikshank lifted it up to the right corner. So goal Utah with 1:27 left in the period. Power play goal for Grace Cruikshank. The score is now 8-0.
Cruikshank, the leading scorer on this team. Which is interesting to note, too, the top 5 scorers on this team, 3 out of those 5 are rookies, the first year on the team. So interesting to note that.
And Grace is not, but Dickman and, no, not Dickman is also not. But Caps.
Yep, so it's Hansen, Caps, and Stevenson, the rookies.
Are the rookies, yep. We got some hot rookies. All right, Plyer carries it in across the circle, and she tries for a quick backhand. Horning holds it. And I believe for Grace, that is her second, correct? She doesn't have a hat trick.
Not quite. Actually, let's see. That might be her hat trick, actually, yeah. That is her hat trick.
Oh, okay, so congratulations to Grace Cruikshank on a hat trick. Utah controls in Air Force zone. Puck's in the corner there. And first sends it up to Hunt. Hunt carries it across the blue line herself, right down the middle. She goes for a nice wrist shot. Oh, and Olsen was trying to make a glove save. Instead, it just kind of deflects off her stick and her glove and lands back in on the ice, still in the Utah zone. Finally, Walton managed to send it up to Plyer. Oh, I'm sorry, not to Plyer. To Howell. Howell's got it in the corner. She skates it around. Around the back of the net, McCain picks it up. She goes back the other way. She sends it back behind the net. Pimentel scoops it up. And she's trying to hit her teammate, but Firth intercepts it, and then the puck actually kind of deflects into the Air Force zone. Howell picks it up, skates around behind the Air Force net. Horning swivels around to cover. Centering pass to Pimentel. Shot gets deflected wide. 5 seconds left in the period. Period running down, and the puck gets pinned up against the boards, and that's going to do it. And the two teams, after 2 periods of play, Utah leads Air Force 8-0. So again, I think notable in this period is how well Air Force defense is holding up.
Yeah, they holding down the fort much better than yesterday. They're a very well improved team just from a break from last night into today, and so. You know what? Their hats off to them. They're getting some cheers from some of their traveling fans, and well deserved after a really good improvement after last night's contest.
Yes, and I think again, Air Force, the thing that's just notable for them is just having trouble converting into any scoring opportunities.
Right.
Only three shots on goal this period, 3 shots on goal the first period. Whereas Utah has now 51 shots on goal in 2 periods. So Horning has been kept a very busy woman in the pipes.
Very much so.
All right, folks, we are going to take our little break as well, and we will be back with the 3rd period. All right, folks, we're back and we're ready for the third period here at Salt Lake City Sports Complex, and off we go. Hansen facing off Firth, and Air Force ends up controlling the puck, and Deans carries it across the blue line, tries to send in deep, but it gets deflected and poked loose, and Burns is on a race with Firth, try and get that puck. Utah finally comes up with it. Oh, yep, bounces around, ends up going behind the net. Pliers goes and scoops it up near a circle, carries it into the corner, and tries a centering pass, but it gets intercepted. Puck does stay in the zone, though. Plier gets it again. She sends it along behind the net. And then Air Force comes up with it. I can't see her number from here. I think that might be Deans, but I'm not 100% sure. Might be Dindorf as well. Sorry, I can't quite see those numbers. And then Hansen picks up with it. She skates through the slot, looking for a chance, but it gets poked loose. Pimentel to McCain. McCain up to Michael. She sends it in across the blue line. Hunt from Air Force picks it up, sends it up to Dindorf. Oh, sorry, to Hughes. That's number 8, Kathleen Hughes, I believe. Dean's in the back, picks it up. And finally, Utah gains control of it. Dickman sends it up to Pimentel, who sends it up to Michael. And we're going to have a penalty. Barely a minute and a half into the third period, and we're going to have, it looks like, I believe the hand signal was cross-checking. Let's see when the official comes and gives it to the scoreboard. And it's going to be on Air Force, and it is indeed a rare cross-checking. And it's going to be Madison Hunt is going to sit for 2 minutes. Utah goes on the power play. And that squad looks like it's going to be Plier, Hansen, Weber, Stevenson, and Caps. Hansen in the draw, and Air Force managed to clear the puck out after the puck drop. Stevenson scoops it up, skates behind her net, starts the breakout. This is going to be a fast skating line here with Hansen, Caps, and Weber. Puck gets in the corner. Air Force trying to clear it out, still trying to clear it out. That was Eris Butler trying to clear it out there, but Utah keeps it in. Hansen's in there fighting in the corner there for it with it. And Stevenson goes for a wrist shot. That's deflected by the Air Force goalie Horning. Utah sends it back in. Deep, goes for a line change. And the puck does clear the zone, so Utah picks it up and regroups. Hansen carries across the blue line herself, goes for a wrist shot, deflected by Horning. And Utah carries it in, starting to do a little bit of cycle. Cruikshank loses the puck, gets poked loose, and ends up all the way in the Utah zone. Utah's gonna have to pick it up. Looks like that's gonna be Weber to Cruikshank, back to Cruikshank.
Air Force looking much better on this PK than on previous PKs before. Utah has a couple of power play goals this afternoon, and I'd like to say that so far, Air Force holding their own on this power play.
They really are.
You know,
they look like they might be able to kill it. There's 15 seconds left, but they're not playing like they're a player down. They're covering everything. They're not collapsing. They're not getting. And we might even have a short-handed attempt. Oh, and boy, Erin Firth wants that one back. She had a one-on-one on the goalie, and Sarah Olson was kind of caught by surprise by the pickoff by Firth, and she wasn't really in a great position. But shot goes wide, and Utah recovers. They're now in the Air Force zone. And a quick shot. The rebound came out. Puck kind of like bobbled loose. Rebound came out, and it looks like it got picked up by, I believe that's Michaela Dickman.
Yeah, Michaela Dickman.
And that's her second?
Really nice shot there.
Yes. No, her third.
It'll be Michaela Dickman's. Looks like it.
She had one in the first, one in the second, and now,
And there you go.
Hat trick for Michaela Dickman.
No hat tricks yesterday with the more scoring, but 2 hat tricks tonight. Dickman getting on the board 3 times. Cruikshank getting on the board 3 times, and
And she showed great poise there. She knew she had the time. She picked her spot and, hit it, nailed it.
And just, again, a really nice shot right over the shoulder. That's how you're going to beat goaltenders in this league, is just that really
Right,
high
you've
wrist shot,
mentioned that
top
before.
shelf, over the shoulder. And it obviously kind of comes to the territory that some of the goaltenders in this league are a little bit shorter than, normal considering the height differential. But, that's what makes those top shelf shots deadly. Because if you put a shot in between the head of a goaltender and their shoulder right above it, there's literally nothing they can do. They can't, just think about the natural body movement. You can't, reach that way.
Dislocate your
Right,
shoulder
yeah.
and, suddenly have your shoulder up by your top of your head.
Right, so it's basically, you just, that's what you're aiming for. And you can see Michaela Dickman right there really showing her poise. Really accurate shot, top shelf. No one stopping that. Utah leads 9-0.
And, I think it's also important to note when you're talking about size differential, the goal isn't shorter for the women.
Right,
So
no, it's
most
not.
women are not 6 feet tall.
Right.
So they're also at a disadvantage because they have, relative to their body size, a bigger space to cover.
Right, exactly, and that's exactly what I was saying. Just the women in the league tend to be shorter than the typical goaltender in a men's league where they use the same size net, and so that's why when a goaltender like you saw Horning, when she gets down into position, when she
actually goes down on the ice.
when she's got her knees bent and she's in the goaltender position, you leave
She's
maybe
got some
6
big
inches.
corners.
6 inches of corner available to any shooter. And if a shooter has a quick enough shot and, Horning can't go over quickly to move her body enough, she's not making her glove save. She's not making a blocker save. No goalie's making that save, not just Horning, any goalie in the league. That 6 inches is prime real estate. And as you saw, Dickman knows exactly how to hit that area of the net. And just like that, she has herself a hat trick.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that, the women's rink and all the dimensions, all the equipment are exactly the same size. So if you're a physically smaller player,
right,
you've got more to cover. Same thing with cutting off her angles. She could cut off more angle if she came out further, but that means she's got a lot of crease behind her that she's got to get back to,
Right.
and with a shorter stride, that's going to put her at disadvantage getting back into position again.
Exactly right, because she can come out and take away the angle. That's also just why goaltenders in general in the game of hockey, if you're ever wondering why a goaltender's coming so far out of the crease, like you see right now, Horning outside of the crease, she's trying to shut down that angle and take away any sort of shot that any player could take on her.
Yep. So she comes out, and then she has to make a decision because at some point she's going to have to back up or she's going to leave too much empty space behind her. All right, so fighting for the puck there. Air Force finally comes up with it. And it looks like Hughes is kind of by herself there, but she carries across the blue line. She keeps on skating towards the net, and then finally gets poked loose by Gracie Caps, who comes up with it. Nice little bit of skating there by Air Force. She just was missing that extra help, and Caps goes end to end and goes for a shot of her own, which goes way high, bounces off the glass. She picks it up, sends it out to Bai at the point, who sends it all the way across to, I believe that's Michael on the far side. Puck ends up again, back on the other side. And it's I believe that's Brooke Burns picks it up in the corner. Oh, sorry, that was Hansen, picks it up in the corner. Shot, nice wrister there. On target by Bai, but stopped by Horning. She decides to squeeze it. Gonna have a face-off. Both teams going for a line change. 13:43 in the third period, score 9-0, Utah ahead of Air Force. Taking the face-off for Utah is Dickman, and for Air Force, that looks like, I think that looks like Madison Hunt. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's Riley Deans. And then have a whistle. There's a little bit of confusion on the line change here, and looks like we're all good now. So Deans versus Dickman again. And puck kind of comes loose. Utah finally ends up controlling it. Sending centering pass all the way through, nobody there. And the puck does kind of come all the way out, so Utah carries it all the way back to the own zone to regroup. And it looks like Dickman carrying across the blue line herself on left wing. She goes for a centering pass to Michael, and oh, she just kind of bobbles the pass. Doesn't quite get the handle on it. Puck still kind of bouncing around in the circle. And Dindorf gets, wow, she gets nailed by shoulder-to-shoulder contact. And I didn't see who she ran into, but she goes down, but she pops right back up. Puck ends up in the corner in the Utah zone. Finally squirts out behind the net. Dickman carrying it back behind the net, trying to start something, trying to start her breakout. She sends it up to Cruikshank. Whoa, and Cruikshank gets tripped, and we're going to have a delayed penalty. So for the delayed penalty, because Air Force hasn't touched the puck yet, we can put an extra skater on the ice, and so Olsen goes running to the bench, and Utah still maintains control of the puck. So they've got an extra skater on the ice, bit like a 6-on-5 power kind of a power play, and Air Force finally touches it, and now we're going to have a real power play, and it's going to be tripping on Air Force.
Cruikshank there was trying to poke her way into that mid-slot area, and Air Force had a defender shutting down her angle perfectly, actually. Literally closing off any angle she could have had at the goal, and also sticking her stick out there to make sure that that puck couldn't get any closer to Horning than it was already. Shuts down the angle, her team touches up the puck. Forces a power play for Utah. There's not much else you can do in that situation. Nice play by the Air Force defense.
Right, and that will be Eris Butler, who's going to sit for 2 minutes. And Air Force did indeed keep Utah off the board during that last power play, so we'll see what their penalty killing unit does this time around.
You know what I haven't seen much from Utah today, and maybe it's because Air Force isn't letting it happen. Utah yesterday really moving the puck around with ease and just trying to find the open play and the open lane. They weren't taking silly shots. They were only taking high percentage shots that they thought would go in. Today, different story. I'm not seeing the puck movement the same way I saw it yesterday, and I think that's a credit to Air Force's defense because they're not letting Utah operate as easily as they were yesterday.
Right, I would agree with you. Like, it's a little bit more, it's a little bit more closed up. The Utah offense is not quite, like you said, open. It's a little bit more closed up. A little bit more maybe hanging on to the puck a little bit and skating a little bit too long.
I mean, really, the main theme of Utah's offense today has just been they've been skating the puck more than they've been passing the puck. And yesterday that was the complete opposite. They were letting the puck do all of the work. And maybe that's a strategy change from Braden Yeo and Rodney Stett and the coaching staff.
Oh! I believe that was actually a save and not a post by Horning.
I think it was as well.
Because it didn't sound like
that shot
post.
had some rip on it. I
Yeah.
think we would have heard that metal if it hit the post. So credit to Horning for making a nice save.
But and perhaps it is. I mean, we don't actually get to go and do like a chalk talk part of the game. So we're always kind of guessing up here. We're just totally guessing.
Right. And obviously you don't want to. You know, I'm sure Braden doesn't want to come onto the broad and come talk to us and be like, yeah, here's our strategy word for word. Because I'm pretty sure Colorado
State, everybody.
Colorado State and Arizona State would be like, oh, I heard Utah's strategy is on their broadcast. So
yeah, go listen to the broadcast. It would certainly draw viewership.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's not like we have some sort of inside secret locker gossip or anything or inside strategy for you folks. We're just up here speculating and. You know, we're just a couple of broadcasters who like talking hockey. So
while we do, we are lucky enough to be able to talk to the coaching staff and the players to get some quotes and some interviews. You know, they're not going to want to openly tell us their strategy and what they plan to do against Arizona State or Colorado State, whatever team they're going to play, Air Force, because I think they would take note of that.
And for those of you who think that's a ridiculous idea, you would be surprised how many YouTube videos that other teams watch, our team, our coaches watch.
Right.
They actually do watch these things. They watch the broadcast because they're basically game tape.
Right. I mean, I used to when I broadcasted before I broadcasted here, there'd be some football games and the coaching staff would say, yeah, after you're done going live, that's gone. You can't have those up anymore, and we don't want people,
we
watching.
Don't watch them.
If they want to get film, they can come and scout and get film on their own time.
Right. But we don't do that here. Hockey's the hockey family, and so the tapes are up here for everyone to enjoy.
Right.
And then again, if somebody thinks that we actually have the inside scoop and they follow our advice, well, I'm sorry, but that's kind of on you.
You know, me and Anita have been around hockey for a long time. We'd like to think that we know a lot about this game, but we're certainly not coaches or part of the coaching staff. We're just calling what we see. And
I would be a D4 player, I think, with my skill level.
I really think if any visiting teams are watching our broadcast and listening to our advice, it would be good for Utah.
Yeah, right. It's like, yeah, boy, I feel bad for you. All right, so back to the action. Utah in having the puck in their own zone. And they did win the faceoff, but they still haven't been able to get the puck out of their own zone. And finally, it looks like Stevenson clears it out. Sorry, not Stevenson. Burns to Weber. She skates it up. Oh, and it gets poked loose, so it's still Utah really still having a hard time getting the puck out. Air Force in there, digging it in the corner there. Got to battle for it, and then Air Force comes over with it. That's Aaron Firth. She's dangerous. Don't let her skate through the slot. And nice poke check there by Weber. That gets it loose. And again, Utah finally clears the zone. Finally managed to get
a little bit of an extra chore for us to
try
find
to
their name.
figure it out. Yes.
But I actually, in some women's hockey leagues, and you'll see it in women's basketball as well, I've noticed that last names actually go underneath the number.
Right at the bottom,
And
which
so
is really interesting.
I
Although,
never thought about that. That could be because of longer hair. But
here comes Aaron Firth. But yeah, it's interesting. Although the problem in hockey is a lot of girls and men will do the thing where they'll tuck the back of their jersey into the top of their pants. So then
Right.
again, you can't see the bottom of the jersey either. Oh, and we have a penalty on Gracie Caps. And she's going to go in the box. 2 minutes for slashing. And one thing that's evident today is Aaron Firth has not been able to score.
No,
she hasn't had any
yes,
chances.
right.
Hasn't put the puck
you know,
in the net, obviously.
it really is. It's kind of weird how everything's kind of shaking out this weekend between these two teams. I mean, last night Utah 40 shots in total, but 18 goals. Tonight, 58 shots,
I know,
9
58
goals.
shots.
58 shots, 9 goals. And yesterday, in a game where Utah seemed to be dominating, Air Force had more chances. So, I mean, it's just like, kind of like, oh, take some of this and throw it over here and take some of that. And it's just a lot of different strategy involved. But you know what? If you're Air Force right now, you're losing 9-0. And that, I think, is a positive. And I don't mean that in any disrespectful way at all. I really think that today's game has been a much cleaner fought game from them. And they faced almost 20 more shots than they faced yesterday, and they've given up less goals. That is a really good accomplishment.
Yeah, that's a big accomplishment, especially as shorthanded as they are.
Right, exactly. I mean, I think it's very impressive that a team that faces 58 shots with the skill level of Air Force is playing the way they are. I mean, I'm very impressed, and kudos to them.
Right, and and Sarah Olson, we know, we've watched her. She is a stand-up, solid
Absolutely.
goalie, but really, you wouldn't really know because she's only faced 6 shots.
Right. And that's also something to talk about. Air Force only with 6 shots in tonight's game, and last night, 14. So they've just been more of a, defensively minded team today. But
and maybe that's just, maybe that's the point. They know they're not going to be able to score a lot of goals, so
Right.
make sure the defense is solid. And then, this could be something to build on as, next season they work on, getting a couple of good offensive lines going. All right, puck ends up behind the net, behind Air Force net. Crookshank's there to scoop it up. Go ahead.
I really do think that that could be their strategy, just because if you lock down on defense, you never know. First, like we saw yesterday, can break out, get a breakaway, and
She
score
gets
a goal.
a couple of chances,
and you
right.
never know, you get the lead. I mean, there was a legitimate point yesterday where Air Force could have had a 2-0 lead on Utah.
Right, at one point in the game.
Right, at the very beginning of the game.
All right, and off the face-off, the puck squirts out of the zone, and so Utah picks it up to regroup. Howell sends it up along the boards and sends it in deep. Crookshank goes in there, trying to scoop it up. She's fighting for it with Butler. Butler actually manages to swat it away. Hunt picks it up, passes back to Butler. Oh, I'm sorry, back to Firth, who sends it up to Hughes. Speaking of numbers that are hard to see, Hughes has got her jersey tucked into her pants, so I can't see the bottom of the number. So I believe that's Kathleen Hughes. Deans gets it. She tries for a wrist shot, which is deflected off somebody's stick. Crookshank's trying to clear it out. Oh, and then Hughes tries for a backhand that gets sent back out and goes all the way to Horning, who stops it. But Utah managed to keep it in, and that would be I want to say that's Howell. No, it's not Howell. That's Burns. And Air Force carries it through the neutral zone. Oh, and it just trickles out. So Air Force has to come back out and regroup. They send it back in. Utah sends it back out. A little bit of back and forth ping pong here between the two defensemen for Utah and for Air Force. 7 seconds left in the penalty to Caps. And again, Air Force doing a really pretty admirable job on this penalty kill. And they're successful.
I really think, you know, the later half of this game, if you take a look at the penalties, they've had 2 penalties so far in this period. Actually, I think that was their 3rd or 4th on the period.
Oh, sorry, I got that backwards. That was on Caps. That was actually a power play, so my bad. Sorry, I was looking right at Port Caps, and I got that all backwards.
But regardless, I think Air Force has done a good job on the penalty kill tonight.
And another fine save by Horning on a hard wrister from Hallie Hansen. So we have 5 minutes, 46 seconds left in this game. Utah is really, you know, the scoring really hasn't been at will today at all.
It hasn't been, which is just crazy considering the amount of more chances and shots Utah's been forcing on Air Force. And like I've been saying, credit to Air Force because there's a reason it's not 18-3.
And a quick wrister off the faceoff by Caps, deflected by Horning. And despite our mistake about who was in the last penalty, it is certainly true that Air Force's penalty kill has been very effective at shutting down the Utah offense during Utah's power play. Nice centering shot from Hansen to Caps, deflected off to the side by Horning. Hansen again tries to skate through the slot. Her shot goes high and wide. Pimentel picks it up, sends it back in deep. And Air Force clears the puck out. Now this might be icing, I believe, because they sent it a little too far, and indeed it is icing. And thank goodness they no longer have, well, thank goodness they instituted no-touch icing, because there was nothing scarier than watching
my goodness.
3 or 4 players scanning as hard as they could and coming up to that red line and knowing that they're not going to have time to stop.
Oh my goodness, that rule in theory, I don't know why it ever existed, but yeah, that was one of the scariest things about hockey was 2 players who really want to get an icing or be out an icing, whatever it may be, late in the game. You skate down really fast.
The boards are right there.
You have a 5 feet or so to put the brakes on, and it was a result of a lot of injuries. And kudos to the NHL for changing that rule and kind of instituting that across a lot of different hockey leagues around the world.
And worse yet, chances are you're going to get tangled up with the person you're having the race with because you're both going for the puck.
Absolutely.
And so that means now you have no control, and you literally just slam into the boards, sliding at top speed.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like literally just like, hey, I'm just going to go start from one end of the ice, skate as fast as I can, and
slam into the other end. Sit down on my butt and slide into the boards.
Yeah, that's
Oh, and speaking of which, oh boy, that was a hard one. I did not see what happened, but boy, I tell you, the Utah player went down hard.
It looks like it might be Brooke Burns, but the player from Air Force, who it looks like that's going to be
Madison Hunt.
Madison
Hunt. That's her 3rd? I think that's her 3rd penalty this game.
It looks like it's her 2nd currently.
Her 2nd.
But we'll see what the call is on that. But wow, we really hope that we think it's Brooke Burns is okay as the head coach Braden Yo comes out along with our trainer.
I didn't see the initial contact, but I heard the players go hit the ice hard.
Both hit the ice pretty hard, and I'm not sure what it was. It might be, looks like, might be her neck area.
And that's
that
the
got hit with a
trainer.
stick.
That's the trainer out there as well, right?
We obviously hope she's okay.
And we haven't seen, I didn't see a hand signal on the call. Have you seen the call yet?
I have not seen the hand signal on the call yet. The scorer will probably throw in the penalty for us, hopefully, on the stat sheet
Hopefully
pretty
we'll see
soon.
on the stat sheet.
Not quite yet.
Yep, no, we're still stuck on the last penalty. All right, so she's now rolled over on her side.
Really hope it's not a a neck injury or a spinal or anything with her head.
All right, so she is on her feet. So the good news is if it's a head or neck injury, they will typically not move them. And again, we're not medical people here, but we've watched a lot of hockey. So the fact that she's actually moving back to the bench on her own feet is a hopeful sign. Hopefully
Right.
it's not something serious, although she's not really skating on her own. She's being supported by her teammates, and she's going to go to the locker room. And I still can't see the number.
I think it looks like it, or looks like, excuse me, it was Dickman, not Burns.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to see these numbers.
And it looks like she's in pain, but she's also upset with the referees. Or excuse me, it was. Dickman was upset with the referees. I lost sight on the player there for a second.
With our feet, and I don't think it's Burns because I'm seeing a. Oh no, it might be Burns. I see the one thing is tough is like we see the helmets, but we can't really see her number.
We'll see it here in a second. When yeah, it's Burns. Number 16.
Oh. Oh. Let's check the. Let's check the.
It's a 5-minute penalty.
Yeah,
for
it is a 5-minute major.
and
So
we'll
it's a little
see.
hard to see because the scoreboard's a little. Some
And
of the
there you
lights
go,
are burned
Madison
out.
Hunt. It's a major checking
Wow.
penalty.
Okay,
5
major
minutes.
checking. So 5 minutes. Now, in the case of this, is this again a case where if Utah scores, the penalty stays on?
Yes. Yeah, this penalty is not ended via a goal. This one runs out. So this penalty will run through the rest of the game.
So we're hoping that Captain Brooke Burns will be able to recover, and we
And
wish
so-
her all the best.
Right, and so
And so now Utah,
Madison Hunt's afternoon is over. She'll head to the locker room. And
right, because we only have 4 minutes left in the period.
so she will be out and then serving the penalty for her in the penalty box. Looks like it's Adriana Francis for
Oh,
the
she's just going to
Falcons.
do the sitting for her, but she's basically been sent to the locker room.
I think that actually, yes, I think so. And I'm not. I don't think this penalty attaches a game misconduct. Usually in our system, it will say that, and it does not say that.
Right.
So
Yeah, 5-minute major. Typically,
Right.
unless it's something really, really serious, then.
so Brooke Burns, the captain for this team.
Oh, and now we have a penalty on Utah. Looks like, I think that was Aaron Firth who went down. And again, I didn't see what happened, but it's either a trip or a hook.
And this will be Grace Cruikshank heading to the box.
Oh, no, looks like it was hit from behind. She's aiming at, he was hand signaling his back, so I believe that's hit from behind. So, but that should be a 2-minute minor.
So Utah go to a 5-on-3 here for a good portion of the rest of this game.
So actually, no, it was on Utah. So it's going to be 4-on-4. It's on Cruikshank, so it's 4-on-4 now for 2 minutes. And then
Excuse me, I don't know why I said 5-on-3.
that's okay.
Got a little
It's
excited.
been a little confusing
Yeah.
this last few minutes of the game. It's been a confusing game. All right, Utah with a quick attempt there that Horning stops. Puck's kind of bouncing around the corner, and Air Force wisely just clears it all the way to the other end.
Which will go, I guess it was tipped, no icing, but
Well, they're short.
it should be a 4-on-4.
Oh, will the icing count on a 4-on-4?
I believe so. As
right.
you're,
Sorry, folks, we're just really kind of losing it. I have to apologize.
we're
We're
trying to see if we could gather information on
trying to look up
what just
information, right? Trying to look
prior
things up
happened.
and trying to do too many things at once. But anyway, the puck is bouncing around in front of Air Force's goal. Deans comes up with it. She sends it along the boards, but Pimentel keeps it in. She's fighting for it with Hughes. Hughes actually managed to send it out. Stevenson picks it up, skates it through the neutral zone. Oh, she loses the handle on it, and then Hughes sends it into the Utah zone. 55 seconds left in the Utah penalty. 2 minutes, 53 seconds left in the 5-minute major for Air Force. And Utah's trying to get something started here. It's kind of tough skating 4-on-3 or 4-on-4 with such big ice. That's a lot of ice to cover. And Utah starting again. Stevenson's got it. And she's starting something. And Air Force is being very careful not to get sucked in and collapse in too much or pinch too far because they're not going to be able to catch up. They definitely, aside from Hunt and Firth, I would say Utah's definitely got the faster skaters on the team. All right, speaking of which, here comes Erin Firth. She carries herself across the blue line. She's got one defender and the goalie. She goes for a hard wrist shot that goes wide. I don't know, I'm not sure if Holston got a piece of it, but it goes wide. And now here comes Utah. It's Dickman. Oh, and she loses the handle on it. And Utah's penalty is over. They are now back to full strength. It's 5-on-4
And that will,
for a minute 55 left.
which is the rest of tonight's contest.
Correction, yes. So it's a minute 55 left in the penalty, but it's only a minute 6 left in the game. 9-0, Utah leads Air Force, and Utah has not scored in quite a long time.
Score still sitting at 9-0.
Here comes Walton. She carries across, and she ends up getting jammed up into two defenders, and we have another penalty. And it looks like that's going to be against Air Force for tripping, and that's unfortunate because that looked like a poke check that just went wrong.
And that's the risk you run with poke checking. If it's not the correct technique, you run the risk of
Right, if
tripping
you don't
a player.
get the puck and you
Right.
get somebody's skate, you're going to end up in
Oh, it looks like Utah might be getting a penalty as well. Heading to the box, it
all
looks
right.
like it's going to be Alexandra Bai.
Oh, she's getting a high sticking. So Eris Butler goes in for tripping 2 minutes. Alexandra Bai goes in for 2 minutes of high sticking. Now, I didn't watch to see, was that after the whistle or was that her going after the part of the same play going after the puck?
I assume it was after the whistle. I didn't see anything during the play that would have warranted a high stick, but regardless, we get a rare 4-on-3.
For 48 seconds.
Yeah, for the rest of the game.
In a way, it's probably good that it's only for 48 seconds because, boy, they're going to be just dog-tired if they had to go longer than that. All righty, so here we go. Face-off just to the right of Horning. Utah controls. And McCain sends it in, and it gets deflected out. Michaels digs it out of the corner. Picked up by Howell, who sends it off to McCain, who goes for a one-timer that goes wide. She didn't quite get as much blade on it as she wanted, I'm sure. Back to Howell on the point, who sends it in, centering pass. And Horning actually wisely deflects it off, and then the puck just dribbles out right in front, but Firth is there to clear it out of the crease. She sends it along. 19 seconds left. They're winding down here. Utah has maybe one good chance, one good scoring chance left. McCain's got it. She sends it into the corner. And that was to Michael, who's trying a centering pass, and finally she finds her teammate, Tori, but it goes all the way through. Tori's not quite able to get a stick on it, and that is the game, folks. Final score, Utah 9, Air Force 0. 3 periods of, actually, I mean, again, it's kind of deceptive when it's such a big goal differential, but pretty entertaining hockey.
Yeah, not too bad of a performance for both sides. We've been talking about Air Force's performance all night. Let's also talk about the Utes.
Yeah, we don't want people to think that we don't love our Utes.
Right. Still a great performance by Utah. And that'll be a 2-game winning streak for
and
Utah.
2 hat tricks
right,
today.
2 hat tricks today. And weirdly enough, when you score 18 goals, we didn't have any hatties yesterday, but got a couple of hatties today. And
so congratulations to the Utes for the sweep, the 2-game sweep. Very important in the standings.
Right.
Coming up next is going to be the men's D1 game, and that is going to be an exciting game. So you folks who are on YouTube, do not go away. Go get a drink or something, come back, because you do not want to miss this game coming up next. And Patrick will be our play-by-play, and I'll be supporting him on color. And we will, unless you have some other nugget to add, I think we're going to take our little break and be back for the men's D1.
We'll be back. Join us on the Utah Hockey YouTube channel for University of Utah Men's Division I hockey after this as they take on Colorado, and then later tonight at 7:30 on our YouTube hockey channel. Join us for University of Utah Men's 2 versus Utah Valley University. That's all we got for this broadcast, seems like, Anita.
Thank you so much for joining us.
We're ready for game 2.